Sports, 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 sports.
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to Sportsball, part of the SPDM Crew podcast. We talk about sports-related topics, but we focus on you, the fan, and what you like, whether it's a sport, team, event, sports-related news, or athlete. Today, we are talking about wrestling, and we'll be talking about maybe specifically focusing on WWE. And I have here the Wasteland reviewer himself, Shane Conto. Hello, how's it going?
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Appreciate you jumping on. So we've got two main topics that we're going to talk about. The first is over the last month or so, Netflix has gained WWE. And
Yes.
also, this past weekend, we're recording this the weekend after Royal Rumble. And just want to recap that. And Shane, you've been a wrestling fan for a long time. I am not very well versed with wrestling.
Mhm.
So this will be an interesting conversation just to get your insight on that. So I guess right off the bat, first question I have for you, what's the current state of wrestling right now? How are you feeling about the direction that it's going in?
Well, I think WWE is really coming into this very specific new version of itself.
Mhm.
I think more and more you start feeling the fingerprints of TKO. Like I've seen a lot of people complaining they keep showing too many celebrities and stuff in the crowd. It's about making this an event and getting that kind of exposure. They're showing legends that are there that they're bringing back in, which I think is great. And then they're showing, celebrities and UFC athletes and all these other people. And it all is going to, this is an event. Like, this is where, like, even famous people go for their entertainment. Like, Kieran Culkin was there the night after he won a Golden Globe for and had an interaction with CM Punk.
Hmm.
It was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And you have that kind of thing. Like Macaulay Culkin had one of the biggest pops out of anybody on Monday Night Raw, the first one on Raw. But WWE's also, they limit the amount of matches that they have on premium live events now. They also, you know, there's less matches on their shows since they switched to Netflix, and it feels more like an event than just a wrestling show. And I think that's rubbing some people the wrong way. Like the internet wrestling community, basically. You know who doesn't give a crap? All the mainstream viewers that go and watch this every week. So there you go. I think Raw and SmackDown are in some good places. I really like NXT a lot, and I think they have a lot of great stuff going on with Shawn Michaels in charge, especially that women's division is so damn stacked with
Mhm.
incredible talent. AEW, I feel like AEW is kind of spinning wheels a
Mhm.
lot. I actually watched their first Dynamite on Max, and much to my surprise, it obnoxiously felt like a WWE show.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, that's weird. I wonder if like the Warner Brothers Discovery is like, you got to make this more like WWE to get general audiences because Tony Khan doesn't give a crap about getting general audiences. He's there for the sickos, his
Yeah.
words.
Well, and isn't like the distinct like kind of the difference between the two is that WWE kind of focuses a little bit more on story and
And
AEW
showmanship and stuff like that.
and AEW's kind of going for the shock value a little bit.
That and like that and like this is where the best wrestlers in the world wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
As they keep pushing a whole bunch of former WWE guys, including the rated R superstar Hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worst downgrade of a name for a wrestler. There's been worse, Shorty G, and stuff like that. But like It's not good. But like you're the supposed biggest story that you have going on over the AEW title is Edge, like the artist formerly known as Edge, who's in his 50s. And like some other wrestlers feel like they're floundering a bit. I just feel like they're kind of stuck in the mud
Yeah.
right now. And I hope that they figure things out. Like they have Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay teaming up and stuff like that. I've heard some of their bigger, like they had to switch their arena for their Australian pay-per-view because they didn't get enough people. And you can't listen to all the crap on the internet from like the dirt sheets and stuff because they're wrong 90% of the time. But there's a lot of concerns that like they're supposed to be doing this big stadium show in Texas. And like they sold out Wembley Stadium in London because they will take whatever. Like it's a big wrestling place and they go crazy for shows like that. I think if AEW can sell out that Texas arena and really have a big show, I think they can show they're going to be okay. But I'm a little concerned about them
Mhm.
right now. And then, oddly enough, which I don't agree with this sentiment, but so many people are like AEW is already no longer the number two wrestling organization in the United States. It's TNA Wrestling because they have this big new deal. They have a deal with WWE building collaboration. I'm like, I like the talent exchange. We got Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble, which was nuts. He got such a big reaction. TNA just really sucks at booking, like really bad.
Mhm.
They should have put the title on Joe Hendry like 6 months ago, and they did.
Well, them
But
them the
so
bricks
like I
kicked.
don't
Sorry.
yeah, I don't think TNA is really the number two wrestling organization in the United States. It's still AEW. Let's be
Mhm.
real here. But I
Yeah.
do like to see TNA thriving because like I've on and off watched TNA since 2006. So like I remember when Kurt Angle debuted in TNA wrestling. That was nuts.
Yeah.
And like those moments. But I think wrestling's in a good place right now. There's a lot of success going on for some of these companies, and that's good for everybody. So
Well, in considering that other than go for WWE specifically, that the other big story that was happening with WWE before the move to Netflix was this documentary about Vince McMahon, which that did them no favors at all.
well, and I feel like on some level, he's gone.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like,
Why
is
can't
it
you
really going to
have
affect WWE that much? Probably not. And like, I watched the documentary. I think it's kind of sad that I didn't feel like it was very like groundbreaking in terms of information. So much of that stuff I already knew. And like there's so many things that like there are so many red flags
Mhm.
about Vince McMahon as a human being. But that documentary, I thought it was a solid documentary.
Well,
Um, but it's
there's
probably because like I've seen other documentaries about Vince McMahon and they recycle some stuff.
mhm.
So it's just kind of like the nature of it.
So WWE's on Netflix. They just had this Vince McMahon documentary, and then they just had Royal Rumble. So for all of us not in the know, what is Royal Rumble and what happened at Royal Rumble this past weekend?
So WWE has their big four Grand Slam pay-per-views. They have WrestleMania, which is like the biggest one. Then you have SummerSlam, which is the biggest party of the summer. It's basically like summer WrestleMania.
Ooh.
And then in November, they've had Survivor Series, which has been like a Thanksgiving tradition. It used to be traditional 5-on-5 elimination tag matches, but now it's just War Games, which is a 5-on-5 battle in like a giant double steel cage. But I really miss the traditional elimination tag team matches, so I hope they ditch the War Game soon. But the Royal Rumble has been around since I think it was 1987,
Mm.
when Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the first Royal Rumble. But the idea is you start out with two people, and every so amount of time, a new person comes in, and then a new person comes in. And there's generally 30 people that'll be in the match, and the winner is the last person left in the ring after everybody else has been thrown over. You have to go over the top rope, and both feet have to touch the floor, which has turned into a whole entire thing, including Logan Paul doing a big spot
Of course.
this weekend. We could certainly talk about Logan Paul in the Royal Rumble, but the Royal Rumble match itself is such an iconic and cool idea, and the winner gets to main event WrestleMania for a championship, which the main event WrestleMania part's a lie because
Mm.
Royal Rumble winners have opened WrestleMania,
Oh.
but you get a title shot. And this weekend we had Charlotte Flair, who was already like a 15-time champion, who didn't need this, won.
Mm.
She came back from a long injury. She's been out a while. So she came back one. And then main event, Jey Uso, Yeet, won the Royal Rumble on the men's side and has caused so much shit
Oh, really?
because so many really like internet wrestling people are like, Jey Uso's not good at wrestling, and he's just over because of a catchphrase, and he didn't deserve to win this. He busts his ass. He's busted his ass for like 15 years in WWE, and he's finally over. Nobody gets a bigger reaction than him from the fans during the entrance, all doing the yeet with him along with it. And honestly, he could put on good matches. He's put them on before with Roman. He's put on good, like he can cut a good promo too. He's had some really great moments. Did I want Jey Uso to win? No. Am I mad that he did? No. Am I going to be a hypocrite and be like, how dare that? Like, why did they just put it on the most popular person instead of wrestler? Because they wanted John Cena to win. And this was John Cena 20 years ago, where it's just like, ugh, they just push him because all the little kids being like, let's go, Cena. And it's so funny that these same people are complaining that Jey Uso won because, like, realistically, he's like John Cena was back
Mm.
then. In terms of there's 4 matches at the Rumble. There's 2 non-Royal Rumble matches. They had it's 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns, which for me, the fact that the Motor City Machine Guns, who are one of the biggest fixtures in TNA wrestling for as long as I remember, are now in WWE and put on some great matches. Like the tag match I thought was really good until they had a shit ending
uh,
because they had an interference ending. Both teams got disqualified. It was a no contest because another team in the mix came out and beat them up, which I hope they do something interesting with the Street Profits, but they haven't.
mm.
So, and then the other big match was a ladder match between the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and Kevin Owens, who believes he's the one true champion. And this ladder match, they beat the shit out of each other. And I thought it was a really good match. And it also crafted something very compelling because Cody kind of went dark in it. Everybody's like he's having his Homelander moment
Ooh,
because Cody Rhodes looks like Homelander.
he very much does with that slick back hair and
Blonde hair and
that the creepy smile. Yeah.
the cape and everything. It's just he kind of yeah, it's obvious. But there's really some shades of them like alluding to he might be turning heel.
Mm.
And Kevin Owens got shit beat out of him. Such a great spot. They had Chekhov's ladder
Mhm.
hanging between the ring and the announcer table. And Kevin Owens wanted to pocket pile drive Cody Rhodes onto that table. Cody Rhodes reversed it into an Alabama slam, an homage to his first ever tag team partner in WWE, Hardcore Holly. And he put Kevin Owens through that table, and that looked like it killed him. It was wild. I thought it was a really good championship match. And, they had those 2 matches, but then they had the 2 Rumbles. And honestly, that's why we're there.
It's true, but you need some entertainment beforehand to get everyone riled up. Um, one thing that I did want to ask you about is that it seems like over the last, I don't know, I would say probably about 5 to 10 years, there's been a increased emphasis in the women's wrestling. And
Yes, 100%.
so, which is good because representation matters, and it also just gives opportunity for plenty of other people to get in on the action as well. So,
Mhm.
kind of talk about the rise of women's wrestling and what that has kind of done overall for the profile of WWE and just wrestling in general.
Well, yeah, because we used to get bra and panties matches, mud wrestling fights, and um, it was frustrating because there's some really talented women that have wrestled in WWE that never really got to show it. Luckily, the likes of Trish Stratus, Lita, Mickey James, they all got to show it.
Mhm.
I love that they actually care about women's wrestling at this point because there's amazing women's wrestlers. Like my favorite wrestler probably at the moment is the man, Becky Lynch.
Mhm.
I love Becky Lynch, and she's out right now. She's been, raising her daughter, starring in a Star Trek show, and a whole bunch of stuff
Mhm.
recently. But the last kicker, the man, Becky Lynch, and just she's one of my favorites. Rhea Ripley,
Mhm.
mommy. Um, I love Rhea Ripley. And she looks like you beat the shit out of anybody.
Mhm.
And there's so many great talents. I love Bailey. I still have my I'm a Hugger shirt from
Mhm.
early Bailey time. Bianca Belair is one of the best wrestlers in the world. You got Io Sky, who arguably might be the best wrestler in the world. And like Asuka should be coming back. There's so many great wrestlers, and that's like in Charlotte, too. You can't deny that she's not great at what she does, even if you don't like her. They're just, and even like the likes of Nia Jax is improving a lot. I'm still not the hugest fan of Liv Morgan, but I respect all that she's accomplished recently. They're just, it's nice being able to see like, hey, there's some really great women's wrestlers, and NXT's women's division is insane.
Mm.
Between international superstars like Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, and like rising stars like Roxanne Perez, Saul Ruka. There's just so many like Lola Vice and Jada Parker who they have some assets
Mm.
that are very noticeable in terms of some of their gimmicks. Like basically Lola Vice just comes out there with like her very well endowed rear end just out there, but she also could kick ass and she's been done mixed martial arts and stuff like that. So it's a nice mixture of like these are beautiful women who also can kick the shit out of each other and
Yeah.
have some great matches. So I've been really happy about that shift. And like the women's Royal Rumble was stacked.
Mhm.
Alexa Bliss came back after like 2 years, and that was so huge. She got one of the biggest reactions at it, like of anybody. Love Little Miss Bliss.
Mhm.
She was supposed to be really big in Bray Wyatt's plans and stuff before he passed away. And it's just she's her coming back is a big deal. Becky should be coming back soon. Charlotte came back. Nikki Bella
Yeah.
even came back, which was wild.
As somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about wrestling, when I did hear about that, I was like, yeah, I know that person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like that was a pretty big deal. She came out number 30 at the end of the Rumble. A lot of people were upset because we're still waiting on CM Punk's wife, AJ Lee, to agree to come back. So, and this my biggest complaint about the Rumble is fans' expectations of the Rumble ruining the Rumble.
Isn't that true of anything nowadays? Looking
Yes.
at you, Star Wars fans.
We all destroyed ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just like didn't come back, AJ Lee didn't come back. Mid.
Could could you just be okay with the people that are actually here instead of telegraphing what you actually want? Who
Yeah.
cares?
So, and the women's Royal Rumble went really well. There's a couple of stretches that were a little boring, and I do think they were spamming. New star comes in, makes a run for a minute, gets neutralized, on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. There's a couple of small wrestlers that you get a bit more of a spotlight with the Royal Rumble too. And like Charlotte came in and she won, of
Yeah.
course. But you had Roxanne Perez, who lasted an hour and 7 minutes. She was really impressive. Io Sky lasted a really long time. She's so cool. Um, she has so many awesome like aerial maneuvers, and she just really sells her character well. Um, trying to think, there was like Trish Stratus was in there, 50 something years old and looking absolutely breathtaking as always. And it's just like, damn. And they really put on a good show. Nia Jax eliminated like 9 women by herself, which she should, because she's like by far the largest person there. I think the big thing was Jordan Grace from TNA, who is now a full-blown WWE wrestler, made her WWE debut as a WWE wrestler in the Rumble. And she did she did a fireman's like Death Valley driver to Piper Niven, who is a large woman.
Mm.
And if I'm not mistaken, like Jordan Grace is like 5'3", 145 pounds of muscle. And she did something miraculous. Having Julie and Stephanie Vaquer from NXT in there was so cool and exciting. It was an overall exciting show. And the women put on a really great showing. There's a couple that stood out, like Chelsea Green is so hilarious, and she had some great moments. Like there was a group of four black women who were acknowledging each other in the ring, and Chelsea Green, very white Canadian, like came up and was like she was part of it, and then they all beat her up, which is funny. But overall, I thought the women's rumble was pretty strong, to be honest, and I really liked it. The men's rumble had so many big name people. You had John Cena, you had Roman Reigns, you had Seth Rollins, you had CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. You had some like Penta, who just jumped ship from the AEW recently, who's had 3 televised matches and then lasted 40 plus minutes in the Royal Rumble, and they made him look great.
Yeah.
And there was this moment where, oh, what the hell was his name? Some influencer was put in the Rumble by Triple H because one of the other wrestlers got attacked and couldn't go out. And I'm like, do I care about this person? No. Did I care about this person when I saw him die? Because he got speared so hard by Braun Breaker, I thought he killed him.
No.
It was so worth it.
Nice.
It was like if he had to take a spot from somebody, at least he took the most vicious spear I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought he collapsed the guy's chest. He hit him so hard. And Braun Breaker even speared Roman Reigns in the match, which was wild. And then of course we had Logan Paul.
Yeah,
Which
those Paul brothers are definitely taking advantage of anything and everything that Netflix and WWE is doing.
well, here's the thing. He's actually really good at what he does in
He
the ring.
is.
He's just smug about it. We
Yep.
don't like him.
Yep.
But overall, and there's a whole entire angle between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins did a stomp to him with both feet and just slammed Roman's face into the mat on the outside. It was so intense and crazy. Apparently there was some like real heat because Drew McIntyre stormed out afterwards because he got overshadowed with his elimination by from supposedly it was LA Knight, who went out into business for himself and was trying to draw attention during the Rumble. But Joe Hendry, like I mentioned, showed up. And when they said, "Speak his name," and he appeared, like everybody went nuts. There's a 70,000 people singing along to Joe Hendry's entrance music, the TNA World Champion. This didn't even wrestle in WWE. And one of the funniest moments was Joe Hendry was doing his thing, and Sheamus was like standing in the corner like this. And then Jacob Fatu broke up. He was like, "Hey, I was watching. I was enjoying that." I love Sheamus. I love Sheamus so much. Jacob Fatu, who's an absolute beast, really had a great showing. Him and Roman Reigns both had the most eliminations at 4. And that last stretch between Jey Uso and John Cena was very exciting. And the look on John Cena's face when he lost was like, holy crap.
How?
But
Very
yeah,
good.
I saw people being like, has enough time passed, and it's an AEW Collision was better than the Royal Rumble. I'm like, you're dumb and you're full of crap.
You're wrong.
Yes.
Mm,
I very few moments where I like, you're wrong. That was one of them.
That's definitely one of them. Well, Royal Rumble is in the rear view mirror. So
Yes.
what's coming up next for WWE? What's some of the things that are coming up that you're looking forward to?
So they're going to Toronto for Elimination Chamber at the beginning of March, which is 6 people get put into a giant steel dome cage. And you got everybody, it's an elimination match. So the last one standing wins the title or wins the title match, the title shot. So we'll see some Elimination Chamber. John Cena already declared himself for the Elimination Chamber. So getting a lot of those like last moments for John Cena. And then WrestleMania comes out, is coming 2 nights, mid-April from Vegas. It looks like we're already getting Jey Uso versus Gunther. Ooh, I love me some Gunther. Do I want Gunther to win?
Yeah.
Should Gunther win? Probably not. I think it's at a point where it's like really give Jey Uso that moment and win his first like world title. So WrestleMania is indeed coming. Rest of the card we don't really know. Charlotte gets a title match against either Tiffany Stratton or Rhea Ripley. She has to make a choice. I would love to see her and Rhea do it again because 2 years ago they tore the house down with an incredible match. Like it was so damn good. So those things to look forward to. So
very nice. Well, Shane, appreciate your time to talk to me about Royal Rumble and all things WWE. I swear one day because it's like Seinfeld. Not quite my thing, but enough people in my life watch it that I know at some point I got to give this a shot. So appreciate you talking to me about this. Do you have anything you want to plug, and where can the people find you if they would like to continue the conversation about all things wrestling?
oh man, so many things. So I have the Wasteland Reviewer blog, which is my website. You can check it out. I have regular articles each week and reviews and all that stuff, all that jazz. I have the Wasteland Reviewer YouTube channel, which as of right now is monetized.
Hey, look at that.
I didn't get to tell, I forgot to tell Mike off air, but yes, I made my first $1.43. So I have 2,100 subscribers. It's a really exciting time for the channel. Go check it out. We're in the middle of my Wes Anderson series. Closing in on 250 episodes of my interview show. It's crazy. My Instagram you can check out where I shamelessly share everything that I do with all kinds of other collaborators. Right at SifPop, right at guidethemovies.com. So a lot of places. I do too much, maybe.
No, I think you're doing the right amount of, no, you probably are doing too much, but that doesn't change the fact that we are
and some of that is here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.
Exactly, which grateful to have you on the crew. Thank you very much for everything that you do. I really appreciate your steady hand when it comes to all of your movie podcasts, but more importantly, I'm just grateful for your friendship and grateful that we get to collaborate and talk all the time. So always,
That was
always
very
appreciative,
nice, Mike, and I appreciate it.
of course. That's going to do it for this episode of Sports Ball. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website at spdmcrew.com. Shout out to HiFlyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logos. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at HiFlyerCreative.com. As Shane mentioned, check out our other shows. We've got lots of other topics that if you are into physical media collection, comics, movies, TV, we've just launched a J.R.R. Tolkien centric show, and then we've also got some music ones as well. And then we've got Luke just chilling with flicks. So check out all of our shows, and if you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew, or if you got a podcast idea and you want to collab, or if you want to collaborate, or if you just want to be a guest, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.